Well, thank you very much. G'day, everybody. Obviously, as you can hear, we're here with... Can you mute that, Russ? I can't even hear myself talk. We're here with Russ, having a good old random stream on the discussion of the search for Atlantis, which is I think in both of our opinions, is a fascinating topic. So, Russ, say hello to everyone. Take the stage for a minute. I gotta... It is so fucking funny that, like, just before we went live, I was telling Russ about how the other day I jumped into Neil's chat just to say hello and goodbye. And, like, the whole idea of starting a live stream and immediately throwing it to somebody else, and I just did that exact thing. I just started and went, Russ, it's on you. Oh, fuck, Thank you very much for letting me know. I am so bad at forgetting to unmute the desktop audio so that everyone can hear my guests. And I think anyone that has...
Can y'all hear me now?
Anyone that has watched any of my gaming videos would know I have a bad reputation for that.
Right.
Oh my god.
Alright, now can everyone hear me?
Can
everyone hear my amazing
beautiful voice?
I love the sound of my own voice.
You can do that intro again, actually. I might just go and do it again, because that was embarrassing.
We are just, you know what, we're shutting this down.
Professionals.
And we're gonna do a whole nother stream where it's all professionally done.
Shit. We're starting again. We'll do it live. No, fuck it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. This fucking thing sucks. But yes, no, I am Frustrated Atheist, as y'all all know me as Russ. And yes, we are going to talk about the lost city of Atlantis. And as a kid, I grew up listening to all these, all the different tales and the story of Atlantis, and it was just always a fascinating subject for me. I always enjoyed it, and as a kid, I wanted to be the person to find Atlantis.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I was that kid too. And I think a lot of us were. Oh, I hear footsteps.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, it's all good. Other room. Yeah, and I mean, we grew up loving those stories. No,
so
you're right.
it's just something that...
Go ahead.
It's just something that always fascinates all of us.
Even when we try to be professional, we fucking suck at this. Oh god. No, it's
I know
awesome.
we suck at professionalism. I mean we are the epitome of professionals.
Hell yeah.
That's what we do.
We're legit YouTubers over here.
I know.
So
we have all of the tens of thousands of subscribers that yes, we are great.
I like that we're so big that we have to boast about tens of thousands of subscribers.
yes.
It's not like we got 2 million subscribers. No. We're trying to be like, oh no, I've got tens of thousands. Fuck.
All 10 of them are amazing.
Let's do a quick rundown for any person living under a rock that doesn't know the story of Atlantis. Or at least the general recount of it, if you'll, give it that. Which from my understanding, basically, I know there's like a poem and stuff that you could read, or a literature that you could read, I should say, to be more specific. But yeah, was it Plato had a story, or popularized a story about an island that became so wealthy and healthy and happy that it offended the gods, and it was like a island, like the place was rich and made of gold, like it was that treasure hunters, like El Dorado, literally. And I bet it offended the gods, of course, just like the Tower of Babel, and the gods decided to destroy it. From the story I heard, it was like earthquakes causing tsunamis, just basically destroying the island completely. So.
Yeah, from what I heard was not only that it was this fabulous thing, but they were also more scientifically advanced than
Yes,
every other
absolutely.
civilization.
Yes, and a lot of our
And
the supposed technologies were lost. Or advancements.
yes, and that these advancements in technology were lost, and now it was like a whole big tragedy that happened back in that time, and it just seemed to be in a story that has captivated ever since it first had been said, and it continues to fascinate treasure hunters all over the world.
Yeah, and it's sort of like the ghost hunters, except maybe they don't have the TV series, but that it's still something people pursue so wholeheartedly, and even very intelligent people, like
Oh yeah.
we have, I suppose, just enough unknown sections of the globe to make it, in some people's minds, plausible enough that there was some grain of truth to the story. So they'll search for it,
Yeah, and I mean, and then you'll have all these other things like there was an actual History Channel thing on Atlantis, and these people were hunting for it, and they ended up in all different sorts of places. One of the places being in the Caribbean, where they actually dove into the waters there in the Caribbean, and they saw what seemed to be a paved road, and what all these different things that suggest a underwater city. And they were like, this might be it, this could be it, and whatnot. But then, of course, somebody came along and gave a more plausible answer, and it still doesn't, because we have all these different unexplored places. It still leaves room for people to think this is indeed plausible.
The one that comes to mind for me recently was, I think it was off the coast of Japan. I mean, I might be incorrect, but I think that's just what my memory serves me at the moment. And it was this formation under the water off the coast that was so precise, in its angles, in the way that like nature doesn't form perfect right angles. When you see a perfect right angle in nature, you're almost guaranteed that was human intervention. You know what I mean? Whereas,
and I kid you not. Yeah. I kid you not. I think I actually read something that, or I saw it, and what it said was that they believe that the lost city of Atlantis was in the deserts of Africa, because underneath the sand there was a formation that was the exact same specification of the poem, with the rings within
Yep.
rings, as far
Yep.
as the city was constructed. And so it was supposed to be somewhere in the desert of Africa, and that's the most recent one that I heard of, and I think that one was actually, if not this year, then it was sometime late last year. Um,
That is definitely
but
more
it's
recent.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, and so it gets these stories get crazier and crazier as they go on,
And it is one of
but
those things
fascinating.
that, because it is possibly or probably a complete myth, that the
Hmm.
the fact that we will never definitively find it means that it will always continue as this conspiracy or this,
Oh
weird
yeah,
idea in people's minds. Even if we were to completely 100% map the world, there would still be those who believe it was just completely destroyed and we'll never find traces of it.
yeah,
But it was there. It was real, you know?
yeah. Hmm. Like, I mean, for instance, they actually went and they stood where the poem said that you could see the destruction. They stood there, or that that you could see the that it was so many miles away from this one particular point, and they tracked it out into the middle of the ocean that way, and they could not find it. Well, then people are like, well, because it sank down to the bottom of the ocean. It's like, well, even if we could get to the bottom of the ocean and show people, look, there is nothing here, people will say, well, when it sunk to the bottom of the ocean, it was completely destroyed. And all that sediment that's down there at the bottom of the ocean has now covered it up over time. And so you'll always find someone who will keep the myth alive because of that. And it's, like I said, to me, it's just fascinating still. I
No, it
still enjoy it.
absolutely is, yeah. And that, it doesn't have to be something that you believe is a possibility for it to be an interesting or fascinating topic. And
Hmm.
there's, I remember one of the big ones at the time of this book was published. It's still going on about I can't pronounce this. The Azores, Azores
Uh,
Island, the Azores Island. I figure
Azor.
ES
You said Azores.
or AZ
Azores.
if you need me to say it in American.
No, we don't say Z.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, no, I completely mixed that up, didn't I? We're the ones that say Z, don't we? I see. We don't even do it right
Yeah.
ourselves. We get indoctrinated with so
No.
much American TV.
You see what we normally do? Well, me being from the military, I always, if I have to spell something out, I do the NATO alphabet.
Oh, so what's
So it'd be like,
not
Z is
zebra.
Zulu.
Zulu. Yeah.
No, Z is
'Cause-
Zulu. Yep.
yeah.
For the spelling of that, it'd be Alpha, Zulu, Oscar, Romeo, Echo, Sierra.
Echo Sierra. Yeah. Because I know a
Um,
few of the more common letters, but there was another one as well. I can't remember what the other code is, where it's the same kind of thing, words for the letters, but they're different words, and I always get them mixed up. Like I'll switch between the two.
oh,
Because as a kid, I learned them both, and then
yeah.
uh,
It's funny because you really don't. There's really no set words. It's just as long as the word can't be confused with anything else. Like, for instance, the NATO is Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot Golf Hotel Indigo, India Hij, Juliet Lima Kilo
Damn, dude, you are good.
H-I-J-K-K. M was, shit.
Is L Lima?
Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo. L is Lima.
Yep.
JKL. M is, fuck. Why am I forgetting M?
It's F, bro. Yeah, I know, I can't think M either.
Huh? Yeah, M is the one that's, right now,
Google.
Anyway, so there's M.
This is so not on topic, by the way,
right.
bro.
No, it's not. But I'm going through it anyways because now it's gonna bother me.
Yeah, it's gonna bother
November,
you. Shit.
Oscar, yes. November, Oscar, Papa,
oh shit. Well,
OP.
Russ
Q
is
is Quebec.
Here, so g'day everybody in the chat. How y'all doing? Kevin, good to see you, mate. Oh, and you don't have a deserve to be blue, my buddy. Have you? I'm gonna divert your conversation. Have you ever seen any of Kevin McFree's content? He does what is known as Dubtown,
No.
right? That's what some of us call. Dude, you want to watch literally the best animation on YouTube, hands down. Nobody else can compete. Don't care who you have. You give me, you know, the Zod, the Comedy Centers, all of them have nothing on Kevin. Trust, just go check out his shit. It is all J-Dub content, but he does way better shit than I do. Like, that guy's the bomb.
And I just subscribed.
Damn straight. I reckon everyone should subscribe to Kevin.
I figured out what M was.
Yeah, bring it.
Mike.
Oh my god, of course it is. Yeah, and Shane had it
Mike,
there too.
November.
He said Mike, and I was like, I'm thinking, Mike's in the chat. Yeah, but I was thinking a person called Mike is in the chat, and he was just saying hello. I didn't even connect it. But once you said it, I was like, oh fuck, of course it is. Good on you, Shane.
Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to the thing, but way to go there, Shane. You fixed that. It says Mike November, Oscar, Papa, yeah.
All right, you're gonna
Sierra,
you're
Romeo.
Gonna have to finish this now, aren't you?
Yes,
it's
Tango,
like
uniform.
Singing that song, you know. I can't remember
yes, it is. How's mom's a bitch? Yeah.
No. Oh, that's a good song. Loving you
V is Violet.
Easy 'cause you're beautiful. No, that's not the right song.
But I am beautiful. But anyways, let's see here. Violet,
God damn,
TVW is Whiskey, TVW, X-Ray, Yankee, and then Zulu. Oh, apparently this guy does not have a key. I will have to mute myself for a second. So keep the chat busy.
Okay, man, not a problem. So, good to see y'all, and thank you very much for joining. Despite what we may have been going through in the last 5 or so minutes, we are actually discussing Atlantis here today. That old mythical island of wonder. Because basically, I really enjoy these sort of paranormal stories. Even as a kid, like, they're all bullshit. There are a few that you'd sort of find a little more possible than others. You know, like the idea of aliens, for example, but obviously maybe not quite as conspiratorial as the anal-loving kind. But today we are talking about Atlantis. I'm, you know, sort of not really working from the book very much because we're sort of just discussing it. But I am working through a book called Into the Unknown by Reader's Digest, published in 1982, which is one of those, like, it's very pro-conspiracy, but then it goes, yeah, but it's still kind of bullshit. But it's very light on that. Like, it is here to fondle those fantasies. So one thing I might give a rundown for is a challenge to, or at least in the 80s, to Atlantis, which was plate tectonics. It seems there's a little inset here on tectonics, so I might give it a quick read until Russ comes back. The strongest challenge to the possibility that the ruins of Atlantis lie somewhere in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean comes from a complicated geophysical theory known as plate tectonics. God, why do they have to throw words like that at me when it's small text? I'm getting old, people. Yet for all the, I can't see. Yet for all the intricacy of its arguments and evidence, the theory, sometimes referred to as the theory of continental drift, okay, this is where I fucking call drink.
I'm back.
Listen to this. Yet for the intricacy of its arguments and evidence, the theory dash, sometimes referred to as the theory of continental drift dash, how much do they have to push that it's a theory to these dumb fucks? Because you know what that argument means to them. You know, when you push, it's
them,
just a theory
isn't
of continental drift.
You're trying to equate it to just being a guess.
Yeah, of continental drift. Like, are you serious? Like, and it's
right.
It's not. It's fair. It is fair because it's technically correct, but you know that without defining that in advance, you're misleading people.
Yes.
Yes, and this is that portrays exactly the problem I even had with this book. Theist or not, that didn't matter to me in regards to this sort of shit. So it was the fact that they're not, that they're clearly showing their bias. Like, bro, zip it up. You know, it's hanging out at the moment. Yeah. You got to hide that shit. You're in public.
Yeah, this is a clear bias because the only people who ever use just a theory are the people who don't understand the difference between the colloquial theory and a scientific theory.
Yeah.
And the thing is the scientific theory has so much evidence behind it. And one of the best evidence behind the fact that continents drift is the fact that, look at California. For those who don't know, California was not originally a part of the North American continent. It was actually broken off from another continent, and due to volcanic activity along the edge where it connects to the rest of the North
States,
America,
yeah.
It was sutured up, and that's why you have the mountain ridge there, and that's a fault line as well.
Because it is
the way they figured this out was.
Sorry, just quickly to clarify the point that you've made is that there is a clear ridge running around. The San Andreas fault line is very well known, and what that is there's a mountain ridge there where the one side of the Californian side is moving in towards the actual mainland of the United States, rising up into a mountain range at that intersecting point of the mainland and California, basically. It is a very typical thing for geography. Fuck, one of the two.
Geology.
Geology. Yeah, I'm a pro. G'day, God. I love when God rocks up. Hey, Marbo and Heat Shield, mate. You don't have to have a drink at 7 a.m. It is like 9 p.m. here for me, so a drink call for me is different for you.
He can have a drink.
You can have a drink, though, if you want. It's a nice
Friday. Yeah, he can have one. Look, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Fucking
But, what? But yeah, so, and the way they figured this out is because the one side, the side that's the mountain range that's on California, versus the side that's on the other side of the mountain range are two completely different geological structures. Like the geology of it is different. Like the side that's on California is not native to the North American continent. So California was broken off, and during shifting found its way to where North America is and collided.
And it, because
So-
ultimately
go ahead.
it's not even one colliding into the other. It is the reasonable understanding that all of them are moving. They're shifting sand
Oh, yeah.
in a pool of water. You know, like, I mean, that is a very basic basic way of putting it, but that is
Right.
what it is. It's just a bunch of dirt shifting with the movement of the water and the rest of the globe on dirt beneath it, basically. Again, it's all more complicated in real life, but I mean, it's when you put it simply like that, it's like, well, okay, everything's shifting underneath. Of course, this bunch of dirt is going to be moving around very slowly because we're fucking huge, you know, and then with all the other effects, like, it's fucking basic shit. Like, has no one ever played in
Yeah.
a sandpit? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. And the thing is there's so just even if you didn't look anywhere else except for along the fault lines and found that these areas are not from the exact same place, then if that was the only evidence you ever looked at is at every fault line that occurs, then you can say, just with that evidence alone, that maybe, just maybe, these two areas, that these continents are constantly shifting, and that's where you get the continental drift. And so, for them to just equate it to just being a theory is just ridiculous.
the easiest way they could point to there being no continental drift would be to show the evidence of there being no current continental drift. But unfortunately, we have a constant state of continental drift. We are constantly measuring its movement. Some places move so fast it's not even funny. Like, it's really hard to understand the rationale that somebody has to try and dispute these things when it is so obvious. But they are the sort of person generally who will just use their eyes to look outside and go, look, I don't see South America, or I don't see Europe, or whatever the fuck, you know. Africa's not next door.
No.
Throwing a snowball at the fucking president or whatever. You know?
You know, I think it would be. I really think it would be hilarious if somewhere down the line, Pangea came back.
Yeah, I know. But it'd be sort of all in, like, it'd be. I always imagined it as a kid anyway, and it's probably the same evaluation. But it's all separating, so we'll all bunch up in the other side of the globe, you know? We'll end up shifting into each other again. And,
yeah, and just create Pangea Pangea 2.0, and then people are like,
yeah.
but I guarantee you by that time, people will be like, well, this has been like this forever, so this clearly shows no sign of continental drift.
That's the problem. The people that were alive then, you know, unless they've somehow managed to retain all of the knowledge since now, you know, all they will know is that it was like that forever. You know, like for the last million years or whatever. You know, yeah. That's if, like, realistically, we're probably not going to be around long enough for that. At least as a human race, we're
no, we definitely won't.
Bastards, we are. Then anyway, I'm going to read something random. Let's see what I can find. No, that's boring. Blah, 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 blah. Thinking of something. Oh, hello, California. Bizarre tales of creatures on Mount Shasta in California have led to fanciful speculation that they might be Lemurian ancients of... What? Oh, okay. Have led to fanciful speculation that they, being the tales of creatures, might be Lemurians, whatever that is, Lemurians, ancient inhabitants of a mythical Pacific continent, which apparently is related to Atlantis. Oh, fuck. This is what I mean. They're going, like, there's some really, like, what? They've got Titanic in here. Titanic clearly embody...
Titanic?
Yeah, Titanic clearly embody the essentials of the Atlantis Chronicle, and by implication, the course of human life itself. Holy fuck. So the full sentence I just read back. Science fiction tales of invasion by interplanetary armies, near-mythic accounts of war, and even the oft-told story of the sinking of the lavish and impregnable Titanic clearly embody the essentials of the Atlantis Chronicle, and by implication, the course of human life itself. What the fuck?
So in other words, because people have imaginations and things like the Titanic happen, therefore Atlantis.
Christy's here. Christy! Hello! Everybody loves Christy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You're like one of those side girls,
yeah,
you know,
so,
like when they do that, mm-hmm. Love it.
I heard it. Oh my god, I heard it in the echo of yours. But
really?
so yeah, yeah. But so
that was the end of Atlantis.
It's funny because, like I said, that it's pretty much what they said was because people have imaginations and things like the Titanic happen, therefore Atlantis.
Yeah.
That is literally what they just said.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is. And that's sort of my fascination with this book, is that it's like when you read a theist's literature trying to be scientific, it's the same kind of thing, but it's from Reader's Digest, so it's not like you just be like, what, like, who let you sell this bullshit?
Right. It's just, oh my god, that's just amazingly just out there. It's like, how, it's like, what were they smoking when they'd said, guys, because of aliens and Titanic,
Well, I mean, everything was alien.
Atlantis. Yes. I'm not saying aliens, but aliens.
I don't even know who that guy is, but it's now the picture of that guy is in my head, and it's just there. Who is that guy? He's that alien.
He's
guy.
the guy from History Channel. Yeah, he's from History Channel's Ancient Aliens. He's
is that literally all he
their
does?
Alien person. Yeah, that's literally all he does.
You'd think if he was on television, he'd do something about his fucking hair.
No, he does that just for the show, I'm guessing.
No way.
Because it's just like, that's all I can think of. Or
like
he
that,
has that hair all the time.
No, because he'd get his
Well,
ass
he may
kicked.
have it all the time because I
He
don't
would get his
ever
ass kicked.
see him with that.
He'd have to only do that for fucking publicity. Because if he walked to the shopping centre, you know, like that, and people would recognise him, and he would get his ass. I suppose it's America; they're all weird, but here they would.
No, in America, he would. Yeah.
Yeah,
here in America, for the most part, he would
represent.
It'd be okay. Yeah. Well, no, for the most part here in America, everyone would be okay with it. It'd just be like places like where I grew up, where, you know, if you ever seen King of the Hill, it's like, that boy ain't right. type of stuff. So they'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? What the fuck is that, dude? What's wrong with your fucking hair?
Yeah, no, there's something just off about that guy.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like the King of the Hill. That boy ain't right.
Yeah, you do that accent pretty
I tell
good
you
too,
what.
Well, the first time you did. I don't know about the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I was expecting a lot more in this book about Atlantis than what it gave me. It didn't actually give me that much. I mean, I could probably read shit, but that would be boring. So instead, I figured we'd turn this into an well, I mean, it depends if people are interested in joining an after party. Because I don't know, how long have we been going for? Has it been long enough? Like, it hasn't been that long, has it?
It's only 6:18 right now.
It's 40
we started,
minutes exactly.
Like,
we haven't. Yeah.
What?
Who wants to join? I want to know. Propane. Wait, what?
I don't think
What's...
that's
what
from propane is from King of the Hill.
Oh, okay. Oh my fuck.
Yeah,
propane.
I sell propane and propane accessories.
Oh, nice. Oh god, I miss out on too much TV for like forever. My whole life, basically. Like, probably the television show I've watched the most of might be Seinfeld. or The Simpsons,
Seinfeld
I suppose.
What's the deal with all this?
Oh god.
I gotta say, I think I don't know if he clipped it or if he actually did it, but whenever what's his name? Whenever Armored Skeptic did his trans investigation video, and someone was going on about Seinfeld, and he goes, "Yeah, I know his comedy isn't all that great back in the day," and then he does a little bit like it's supposed to be from his comedy routine back in the day, and it's like, "What's the deal with all this airline food?" And then it's a fake laugh track and whatnot, but I was like, I don't know if that's supposed to be, if that was clipped from like an actual thing or if from like an actual comedy bit of someone pretending to be Seinfeld, or if that was actually Armored Skeptic, but it was pretty good.
Very cool. I don't think I've seen it, but fair cool.
Yeah, he have you heard about, at least about the trans investigation thing?
Trans investigation.
Yes.
That I'm aware of.
Apparently, all the men are actually women, and all the women are actually men. Basically, what everyone keeps saying.
Good
Yes,
Lord.
and they'll sit there and say, there's one argument that Armored Skeptic did that was hilarious, and he goes, because they're like, look at his wrist. This guy's wrist goes down to his genitals. This clearly shows that he's a man. And he was like, so apparently the argument is, because my wrist can touch my pee-pee. And I was just cracking up the entire time, just because he had all these little jokes to jab in there, while sitting there saying pretty much what these people are pointing out, that people have, that women and men have different body styles, and they are individuals, therefore somehow, some way, they are the different sexes. And so yes, Suris, we are both awake. He's awake because it's late over there. I'm awake because I've been awake since I've been at work since 4 p.m. yesterday, so. And
yeah, of course I'm awake.
Fiance is calling. Give me a sec.
Do you want to join, man? Have a chat. We were discussing the fable of Atlantis. We've sort of wrapped that up a bit because there's only so much you can really discuss about it. But you're more than welcome to jump in and have your say, or talk other crazy conspiracies or just talk shit with us and say hello if you want. Goes for pretty much anybody. Johnny and even Kevin. I don't really ever get a chance to say hello to you. I don't know if you really do these things, but you know, thought I'd give the old invite to everybody. He chill too, because like you're always in the chat. I don't know if you ever does Heat Shield go on to streams? Like, I don't even know. Oh shit. Oh yeah, but no, I know how that is, man. I normally always have to work through streams myself. It's painful. So who's Beyonce? Yes, yeah, Beyonce is calling, definitely. That is what was happening. Russ is well connected. Well, look, it's live though, so if you want to run shit by me, then as long as you know you're happy with it being live, I'll send you a link, bro. But yeah, otherwise, just you're welcome to jump in, say hello, do whatever. Call me a asshole, I don't care. I gotta get the right link first. That might help. And go over to there, and go over to there. I'll hit you up on the old tweeter machine, Suris. If anyone else wants, just yell at me and I'll send you a link. Chad, I think Frustrated Atheist sounds like Dr. Guyman when he does the King of the Hill voice. Lol, no offense meant. I gotta admit, that's pretty hard not to take offensively. Like... Oh, damn. That's funny. Damn. Did you catch that, Russ?
Yes, I did, Chad.
Oh, snap.
If I was subbed, unsubscribe.
So if I was subbed.
But
ooh.
I'm not. If I was subbed,
Damn.
unsubscribed.
That's cold. Fucking
that's how dare you? How dare you?
Oh shit! But on my wife. Oh, okay. I don't know how to link you in Discord. Why doesn't Twitter work on your phone? I don't get it. Okay. I don't even know if I have your email. Fuck. We'll have to organize. Hey, Suris, how you doing, brother?
Who's that?
I cannot hear you, man.
We can't hear you.
Goddamn microphones, this bullshit. Technology, eh? Now you're
still
muted
can't
on
hear
Hangouts. You're muted on Hangouts, I think.
How about now?
Yeah. Hey,
Yes, there we go.
There we go.
How you doing,
Yeah,
mate?
for some reason, when I stop using my Yeti, it just turns off, I guess, and I have to unplug it and replug it back in. I have no idea why the hell.
Yeah.
That's all right. You spend lots of money on microphone equipment, and it works, right?
Did you see this?
We're just all professionals.
You didn't see the start of this stream where I go and say hello and then say, here's Russ. Let Russ talk, and I mute myself for a minute or two. Nobody could hear Russ. It was just silent for a couple minutes.
It's not as bad as what happened with Jim from Atheist Edge. We had Dr. Richard Carrier on his channel. We were talking to him, and instead of listening to the Hangout, he turns on he has a separate tab with the YouTube video that he's hosting, because he wants to look at the live chat. So instead of listening to us in the Hangout, he's listening to the video, which has a 20-second delay.
Big delay.
So we say, he says how we're going to do the thing. He's like, hey, I'm just going to, point out who's speaking next, and they'll get their turn before we get to the Dr. Richard Carrier stuff for shout outs for different channels. So we're like, okay, that's fine. And then you just see Jim sitting there for 15 seconds. And I'm just like, you're nodding your head, so you're listening to something. Jim, are you okay? 15 seconds later, yeah, I'm fine. Why?
Oh, good
Jim,
Lord.
Jim, I think you're listening. And then you just see him, like, his eyes light up. He clicks the button to pause. He goes, I've been listening to the wrong people the whole time.
Oh my God.
And like, congratulations. First impressions for Dr. Richard Carrier.
Yeah, I reckon.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I just finished getting all of my images together for my next video for shits and giggles. I figured you guys might want to chime in on some of the stuff that I'm responding to if you'd like to laugh and or cry.
Buddy, you know I'm always keen for that sort of thing.
Is
Okay.
this for the thing that we've been working on, or is it for...
Remember, I said I'm going to pepper 1 or 2 videos in between all of those. This is one of the in-between videos.
Not
but
even
these
doing
are...
something with me, Suris. I'm hurt. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if you want to. If you want to.
Yeah, I'm always up for something. I just never have ideas. That's all my problem is.
Well, you have...
just
you
to
have
see your face for that second.
You have a particular contention with cults already, so this might actually be right up your alley. We're going to be tackling the new IFB.
That's right.
If you're familiar with...
that was what Russ, you were just telling me a bit earlier, yeah?
Yes, I told that before. I told you that before we got on. Yeah, before we got on there. Yeah.
Oh, shit, I forgot. I thought I could
if you want
to off there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do that, then honestly, the more YouTubers that are tackling them, the better. Because the problem is they've had one point where they've had to restructure and split off because of sexual misconduct and all kinds of like nasty shit that went on in their old organization. But basically, so you know how the Jehovah's Witnesses are paying money out the ass for pedophiles and sexual predators that they aren't releasing names on, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if a set of Jehovah's Witnesses said, you know what? Screw it. And just like a set of elders from the Watchtower Society just said, fuck it, and left the Watchtower Society and then created Watchtower 2.
Well, that's the Bible students.
And that was their method of dealing with it.
I mean, that happened in the 20s.
But the thing is
this would be a new version, yeah.
Yeah, but so just to make this even clearer, whenever they make Watchtower 2, they actually, one of the elders had sat there and said, this is what was wrong with the old Watchtower, and doesn't ever actually list the abuse that had happened.
Doesn't talk about the sexual misconduct that they were paying out the ass for.
Plus it doesn't even
they
address
they don't ever say it. Yeah, they don't recognize that as the problem, and just said what's needed is more scripture and more this and more things about the Bible.
And the Bible wasn't the reason they were messed up the whole time, right?
Yeah, so it's
basically you guys both.
Sorry, just quickly, it's sort of like that way that a criminal organization will, be caught out on their front. They'll just have another business they'll go in back behind.
Yeah, the difference here though is it's almost analogous, except there was no front to begin with. It's as if the mafia was it's as if the mafia was taken down, but like a few of the people who weren't the head mafioso left and created the same mafia under the same name with the same members, just a different head.
No, well, that's exactly what that is exactly what I mean in regards to the front, not just the front being taken down, but that being that section, like that mafia being taken down. It's still the same people of the group that aren't taken down will go and spawn their new head. Like that's the way that sort of thing works.
It's almost like cutting off a head of a hydra.
Yeah, exactly.
So
another one.
Yeah, so in the scenario though, it's like having their front was Lorenzo's Pizza, and then whenever the new people come out, they just put Lorenzo's Pizza 2.
Yeah. No, they put effort into it.
That's basically what happened.
Yeah, it's silly, and this is coming from somebody who actually does frequent a diner that is like headed by a mafioso. So it's fairly common. It's fairly common knowledge that even though their food businesses are outstanding, it's not the only way they're making money. It's common knowledge around here.
Yeah.
Very common.
God, I thought it was just for the food.
I mean, the food is great, but like the one thing I like about their place is that you can go in, you can be like, I'm going to spend $8 and get a really good burger, or you can go in and say, I'm going to spend $50 and get this really high class Italian dinner. Because what they do is they have this one place that's just called their diner, but they've got like a steakhouse and they've got an Italian restaurant, they've got like all kinds of other businesses, and they just have like samplings of all the shit from the other businesses at the diner. So you just go to the diner and you can get everything.
Nice. That is a good idea if it works.
Yeah, around here we don't have much in Texas. We don't hear much about the mafia stuff, but we did have, we have big
Mafia.
we do get surprisingly
Mafia stuff.
Yeah. I can see it now. The Texas Mafia would be like
Texas Mafia.
I don't know. That would
They
just
wear
be
cowboy
weird. That would
hats.
just be
The mafia in Texas, they are bigger. But that's because everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be really shitty? Like, okay, so think about this. In Texas, you've got a lot of really big cities in Texas. But you've also got a lot of like smaller cities that are just parsed out by like an hour of nothing driving through a flat almost desert. So just imagine like a mafia boss is trying to get away. He can turn and back alleys he can get to, but he gets to the city limits and he's like, oh shit, now there's just an hour of is my car faster than the cops? Driving
surprisingly
straight.
that's not too far off. No. We have where I live there's like small towns and whatnot, thank goodness. But still you have the main highway, and if you're not from around here, when you get off into the side roads, you're fucked, because now you're going to deal with people who have lived here all their lives versus you who don't know where the fuck you're at. So you're fucked from the beginning. So you might as well stay on the main roads, which are pretty much straightaways for miles upon miles upon miles.
Yeah. With that said, would you guys like some laughter and or some shame?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring it on, man.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna do a quick screen share here.
Yep, and I'll
see if I can make
you.
sure that this. All right. Let me go. Where's my
have to
share
click
screen
on
button?
it.
Oh, you're running through.
Work. Yeah, I'm going through OBS.
Yeah.
So as long as I just click on your icon, it'll screen share for the YouTubes.
All right. Boom. All right. So we got screen share up right here. All right. So we're gonna go we're gonna go through these comments, and you're gonna have some fun and laughs. So let's make sure. Yes, I want to open this through photos. All right. Oh God, my Android emulator is freaking out in the background. It doesn't know what photos is. All right, let's go for the first one. Take a read. Tell me what you think.
I've heard it said, God is evil. Okay, we both doing this, or this creates.
No, you go ahead and read it.
Let's let NotJah do it. It's his channel.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, motherfuckers. This creates a paradox for the atheist. Okay, what's up, Russ? What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, you do you, babe.
I love you too. Okay,
Get a room.
I've heard it said, God is evil. This creates a paradox for the atheist. One cannot have evil without good. This means we need something to compare the evil to. Since atheists claim Morality is subjective. They have nothing to compare God to. By even claiming God is evil is to suggest the God whom you don't believe in is real, which creates another paradox. This post should end all debates. Hashtag simple logic.
So, how many problems did you find in that?
I found it really hard to read. If that says anything.
Oh,
By the way, this video that I'm working on is going to be posts from this single individual. Only this one person. So you get to see how stupid this person is, and it's just going to magnify with every single post.
One of the biggest things I have the issue with is the fact that this is listed as a conversation starter.
But it's supposed to. But it says it's supposed to end all debates.
Yeah, that's a good point, right?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Jesus
But
Christ.
I'm sorry, but I don't know of anybody, including myself, ever going up to people just to sit there and say, "So God is evil, and this is how we should do this."
There's your conversation starter for the day.
My favorite part is the hashtag of simple logic, because I'm pretty sure they're trying to say that the atheists have the simple logic, whereas I'm pretty sure that's a good summary of that whole couple sentences, paragraph.
So the thing, there's some confusing things in this. It jumps around a lot. Like, each and every time he goes to a different sentence, it's like he's jumping to a different argument, but it's formulated as if it's a single argument. So this says, first of all, I've heard it said God is evil. This creates a paradox for the atheist. First of all, God is evil is the logical problem of evil. It's a paradox for the Christian, not us.
Yeah.
One cannot have evil without good. Nobody fucking said that good came from your God, so we still don't have a paradox.
And the fact that if your God is evil, then that doesn't mean that your God is good.
Also, Heat Shield said that just had to stop jogging to say that if there's ever a doubt, my vote is that NotJah reads everything always.
Thank you.
Sorry, NotJah. Yeah. I might actually have to recruit you to read these for me.
I have no problem with that. I don't mind doing readings. I have a problem with this means we need something to compare the evil to. Why? Like through that through the paradoxical logic of the atheist that they're presenting, I don't understand. And given that the atheist doesn't actually believe in the God anyway,
not to mention, here's the next part. Since atheists claim that morality is subjective, because he's saying that we have to compare it to something, and morality is subjective, so there's nothing to compare to. First of all, atheists claim, well, maybe it's just because I was talking to Richard Carrier recently, but he believes in objective morality. So does Sam Harris. And they're two of the biggest atheists out there.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what atheist is he talking to?
I have to, Christy, I would be very happy to narrate your life. This is your life.
So, based on how frequently I see Christy on every channel, I imagine the narrations are going to go, and she clicked on another video.
It's pretty much it.
And she clicked on another video. Like,
and today,
I
Christy
love...
watched another 10 videos of streams.
I love it. I love it because no matter where I go, no matter what stream I'm on, I can find Christy there, and I'm just like, you know what? You are way more reliable than any god I've ever seen presented.
I saw that coming. That's awesome.
So congratulations, Christy Santiago. You are more reliable than God.
I'm just gonna be like, you
wear
are
it as
God.
a badge of honor.
Oh,
My God
fucking
is
hell.
everywhere. Oh, well, he's not everywhere like Christy is.
Not sure if Peter's here.
I think the last
if he was,
issue-
he should say hello.
Yeah. So, also, by the way, has anybody ever else come across this, like, by claiming God is evil, you suggest that God is real? It's like it's like people who don't understand what a hypothetical is.
Yeah, see, I've only heard
Yes,
this since being coming out as atheistish. Like that period of, like, before as a theist, never heard it.
But as soon as you become an atheist, it's like hypotheticals stop existing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always heard it, and it hasn't even been about morals. It's just about, like, for instance, if I said, God forbid, it's like, oh, you just said God, therefore God exists. And it's like...
I had a guy do that to me when I said "God damn it" one time, and they were like, "Who damn it?"
Oh my god.
And I'm like,
Like,
dude,
because
you're what? You're what? You have a what?
I know. I am like
Exactly.
that. I say it, and I say Jesus Christ. I'll even say bless you sometimes, just out of habit. Like, and I don't really have a problem. I'm just like, it's just a fucking phrase, you know.
Yeah, it's a figure of speech. It doesn't
If
mean that I've
anything-
suddenly conformed to your religion.
No, if anything, it should only be a problem for the theist who believes the God exists, because that's then the blasphemy. If you don't believe God exists, it's not blasphemy. It doesn't fuck. It's just another word. You know, God doesn't.
Oh, we have another
equate
conversation
their God.
starter.
Nah, that one's not as fun. Let's go to this one. The other one's
Is this
the
another
other one.
conversation starter? Oh, it is.
All of his-
Oh, they'll all be
conversation.
conversation
All of
starters.
his-
Yeah.
They will all be conversation starters.
Oh, yay.
Sorry.
Take a good... Go ahead and read it.
Fucking Russ. Jesus Christ. Every time, it's just as I go to say it too. Take a good look at this photo. Both Christian scientists and non-believing scientists will agree this rock was made by sediment, which occurs as floodwaters allow... Did I say that? Yeah, which occurs as floodwaters allow dirt to settle and compact. Some have said this is because of little floods over the region. This rock was found at 2,500 feet above sea level, and there are rocks all over this region, just the same. This means water covered at least 2,500 feet above sea level. Looks like a worldwide flood to me. Conversation starter. Fuck me dead. What the hell?
You need to say that before you read them.
I was like, I know I should have, but that bit was sarcastic. It's painful. Like, I couldn't justify.
So-
Like, I was a smart motherfucker as a theist, and I'm not trying to suck my own dick because I think it'd taste disgusting. But I was a pretty
My
smart dude.
issue is I don't...
And I could not grapple the concept of a worldwide flood. Just the sheer physics of a flood that could encompass all of the landmass on Earth to have been what was stated didn't make sense. It could not happen. And I always justified it by, like, it was a local flood or something, you know, and it was just what they thought. You know, all that kind of shit. Oh my god. I'm a gird.
My issue is, well, I can't really tell from this, from the thing itself, but I don't think that's sedimentary rock.
I'm the type of person who's willing to grant that it is, and then show that they're still fucking wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to
Yeah,
grant
yeah,
that
I'm
too,
like
but
that.
just as far as what I know, I don't think it is.
Well, also, so I screenshotted these all from the same person, and your phone's about to die.
Yeah, it is.
So there's one thing that I know, and that's that he didn't cite anything when he made this post.
Oh,
He just
yeah.
posted it. So for all I can tell, he probably took this post in the woods in Georgia, right next to the goddamn lake we have here. Because there's a big set of woods right next to Lake Atworth, and Lake Atworth can flood. So if it floods above this thing, like, you're gonna get water damage, you're gonna get water erosion, at least on some level. So there's no way for me to even figure out if he's telling the truth here. But even if we grant that he's telling the truth, we have fossilized clams on top of mountains. A single fucking rock is not a problem. Tectonic plates are a thing.
Yeah. Yes, and the thing is not only are tectonic plates a thing, but like you said, there are certain areas that are known for flooding. For instance, I can go with what I know around here. Dickinson is a town that has a bayou that runs through it, and whenever we get a really, really heavy rain session, it does tend to flood in Dickinson. And then when Harvey hit, it definitely flooded. I mean, it was way, way worse than normal. But just during a normal rain session, it will flood. So we have flood areas. That doesn't mean every area is a flood area whenever it comes to whatever the fuck he's trying to prove here.
This is a
the level of
flood area. That's what he's trying to prove.
What's funny is that there is one recent semi-worldwide flood, and it's Younger Dryas. But and if he took this in like Texas, right? We know that during the ending of the Ice Age and the beginning of the Younger Dryas event, Texas was mostly underwater. So if this was taken somewhere in Texas, then sure. Fine, whatever. Congratulations, you've got your rock and your place flatter than a pancake. Science has already showed that your world is Younger Dryas is what 12,000 years ago. Yeah, so 12,000 years. That's double the length of time that they try to posit for their flood. It's already wrong.
But serious, my worldwide flood.
No, when they hear Younger Dryas,
just running away for 2 seconds. So hold the convo. As in, keep it going. I'll be right back.
Okay. But instead of worldwide flood, it should just be, oh, so it happened.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, it happened, so we're good now. Yeah, you proved me right. Thank you, Suris.
It's the thing that I hate about, like, is you deal with this with like conspiracy theorist people as well, where you say that actually something similar to what you're talking about happened, but what you're telling me is fundamentally wrong. And they're like, oh no, that thing you're talking about, that's definitely what I was talking about. So it happened, right? Like,
it's like, no, did you not just hear what I just said?
But remember, jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
Yes, jet. Oh, lordy. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's, oh my God, that's one of my favorite arguments whenever they go to talk about 9/11.
9/11 apologists.
My jet fuel. Oh, lordy. But what else you got there?
Well, I'm going to wait until NotJah gets back because he's our official narrator.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, so just people who make these terrible, terrible arguments. Just, it's like these arguments are bad and you should feel bad.
Nah, I think the best thing to say when it comes to arguments like this is, hey, you know what? You're not even wrong.
Yeah. I have used that.
And there's going to be people who, when they hear that, they're going to think that you're saying they're right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so wonderful to get that reaction. Like, whenever I've actually used that on somebody, and they've just been like, oh, yeah. And we're like, no. If I say you're not even wrong, I'm meaning you're wronger than wrong. Stop. This hurts.
I know. I like to what I usually say just to make sure that they get what I'm trying to say is, Have you ever seen the Kent Hovind and King Croc debates?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. No, that's what I would ask them. Is like, have you seen them? They're like, oh yeah, I've seen that. It's like, well, you're not even wrong. It's like, well, fuck you, guy. It's like, yeah, I don't care.
And he was like, you can be upset. I do not care. You saying things and me saying things and the things that I'm saying upsetting you doesn't upset me.
It really doesn't, and so you can scream, you can cry, you can curse at me. It doesn't change the fact that I'm still don't give a flying fuck.
All right, we'll grab one more before I hop off and actually make my video. Because you guys are doing the stream, I think I'm just gonna have the disembodied voice do these for the time being, just because it's timing issues. But let's see. You know what? This will be fun.
I'll do your next ones. Okay. Conversation starter. If two guys who loved each other got married, but no AIDS was present among either of them, then they make love and become infected with HIV. Then the both of them get into a car crash, go to the ER, and a nurse working on them has a cut, gets infected. Then she, in turn, infects her husband, who is sleeping around, and infects another girl. Then that girl infects 10 other people because she's a slut. And one of the 10 is a blood donor who infects millions. Then would homosexuality be good? What? God has a plan. As long as we stick to the plan, society will work. And we can stop the spread of AIDS. The fuck did I just read?
Okay. As I've said, as we've already stated before, he's not even wrong.
No,
I actually challenged him on this.
This is the most bullshit one of the lot, in my opinion. What the fuck is that?
I've actually asked this guy if he wants to be on my channel, and he's never responded.
God, you wouldn't have fucking, like, holy crap. That's so just, how dumb
for starters, he obviously has no idea how AIDS happens.
Oh, he thinks he does, actually. He thinks he does, because this is my conversation with him.
No, according to the CDC. Oh my god!
Oh, I can't because you've got Seymour and stuff. Okay. Not really. See, I can't respond to it reading his stuff if I don't get the full convo. So it's a bit difficult. Mixed with the name.
You okay?
You didn't blur out his name on the second comment that you did or the third.
Yeah, I need to do that then. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah, now that we're live, presenting this to everybody.
Everyone, you see his name go and find. No, don't do that. Don't do that. That'd be terrible.
That would be really not cool. I think most of the people who watch my channel are decent people. So. The only trolls that would do that are probably on his side. Shit.
Oh my
damn,
god.
dude. I'm looking forward to this next video.
Select the article, please. That sounds like hogwash. Oh my god. So, apparently, according to him, he literally thinks that because of this article that states people who already have HIV somehow that's how it's also created.
Yes, he thinks that it's created by seminal fluid mixing with poop. That creates AIDS, apparently, according to him. Now, my question to him would probably be something along, like, if I were to have this happen again, let me see what my actual... Oh no, I've already gone away from that conversation. I deleted the tabs as I was going through. I could probably find this one again, though, if I really wanted to. Hold on. Let me see here.
Because I'm curious to see that one. Getting to the bottom of it, too. Like, really? Getting to the bottom of it? Anal sex, rectal fluid, and HIV. Jesus Christ.
My God,
I took the time to read his article, and it doesn't say what he says it said.
Of course it doesn't.
Yeah, no, well, very rarely do they actually interpret them very successfully.
They interpret them so liberally a conservative would cringe.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's so sad is it really doesn't take that much effort to get it right. It's sometimes it is just no, they don't know what they're doing and stuff. But very normally, when they're going to that much effort to read the article, they could pretty easily go to a little more effort and figure out the fuck's going on.
Here we go. That's the full context of what I said. What the fuck? Homosexuals don't generate AIDS, idiot.
AIDS. Oh my god.
That's the full context.
Like, literally, you can actually go onto different websites that will tell you how these things happened. It's not that hard to figure out. Where he got the idea that homosexuals just generate it is beyond me.
Well, it's just obviously the propaganda put forth, because there's still a lot of that out there. It's just that we expect people to know better nowadays, and people don't.
Yeah.
Fuck hell.
No, it's hilariously dumb.
Hey, Jacob.
Hold on. There we go. It's hilariously dumb how, well, hilariously dumb this person and people like him are.
Sort of almost scarily dumb. Like, that... They're genuine, obviously.
That's the level... That's the
to.
level of stupid that he's given to other people. Like, that's contagious stupid.
Yeah. I mean, well, they seem to be somebody trying to spread that shit too. That seems to be.
This dude also seems like the guy who thinks that if we came from monkeys, why they're still monkeys is a valid argument.
Well, I have no doubt if I scoured his Facebook, I would find that. In fact, give me a moment.
What's weird is I'm pretty sure that my old man, despite being an atheist technically, would say the same thing. If we evolved from monkeys, why are they so...
Well, I've heard a lot of people who say similar, or who say things that are like... Let me quote a coworker of mine back when I used to work at Aldi. This particular coworker, and I'll try to quote as best as possible. She said, "So you're an atheist?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "So you believe in evolution?" I'm like, "Well, I know that it happened." And she goes, "Well, I know it's fake because I was in history class and I studied it." And I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. If you studied evolution in history class, we have some problems.
Yeah, like how...
Then I was like, okay, well, did you... I was just like, did you study it? And she was like, yeah, I've seen that picture that has the monkey turning into the guy, and I just don't buy it. I'm like, so wait a minute, hold on.
Oh, my God.
And she literally used the if there are monkeys and humans, and humans evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? And I'm just like, I didn't have it in me to argue with a coworker, so I was just like, look, science will be right even when you're wrong.
Yeah. And that
Like-
picture, that image of the 4 or 5 or whatever, you know, between monkey to man or ape to man,
Yeah.
that has been so like it's a deception for people who are theists because they will use it to jump to so many wrong conclusions. You know, it
Yeah, I-
misleads them.
I think it was a gross oversimplification, and then the theists tend to take it as meaning literally.
They take it and run
was
with
like,
it.
No. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the history of the photo itself, but if you think about it, I think that might have been what it was a gross oversimplification, and then they just took it and ran with it.
Well, yeah, it's like, okay, so this is the thing that you see the young Earth creationists do all the time. Young Earth creationists take an argument in its simplest form, and they debunk the argument in its simplest form. The problem is that by the very nature of the argument being in its most simplistic form, it's missing data.
Yeah.
It is always missing data. So like, and then they'll use their argument and state it in an incredibly simplified sense. And the weird thing about this is that when a young Earth creationist does this, it appeals to an audience that's looking for a simple answer because they don't want to think about it. Ken Ham does this all the time when he's like, if we had a global flood, we would expect there to be dead things hidden in rock layers all around the Earth. And what do we see? Dead things hidden in rock layers all around the Earth. It's like, yeah, you do see that. Now, where are they in the layers? Because that's where we start having problems.
Yeah. And then when you start to actually, with Ken Ham, when you actually start to get to the nitty gritty and people in the same camp, they tend to then just jump to, oh, there are no rock layers. And it's like, you just said that there are rock layers, that these dead things are in the rock layers. And now you're saying that there's not there. What? You just undermined your own argument.
Oh my god, I found, so this is not the monkeys one, but this might almost be better. Hold on, let me see if I can scroll through his feed a little more.